Ready?
Yeah, how do you sort of explain that? It was such an amazing start and then just evaporated so quickly.
Yeah, it did. I mean, we couldn't have wished for a better start. I mean, we were on with most parts of the game in the first quarter. As much as we were on in the first quarter, we were switched off by Collingwood at their best today, I think, with the way they played. And, they'd take a fair bit of confidence out of the way they played after quarter time. And we take a lot of learning, and that's what we need to do. We need to take the education that we got, unfortunately. And but you said, first start you're going, well, it's a pretty strong start away from home, and you're feeling pretty good about the way the game's going. But just towards the end of the first quarter, they got a couple of big plays that made a difference, I thought.
Can you sort of pinpoint what the actual reasons were for such the dramatic turnaround?
I think there's some numbers that were pretty easy to see if you look at the numbers, and those numbers pretty much work into work rate and contest. I think that would be fair. I'm not going to hide from it. Collingwood were much better at turning up more reliably, more consistently, and in the contest they were more predictable. They were playing aggressive and they continued to play aggressive, but what they did when they played aggressive was continue to turn up, and that makes it much easier for them to play their style of football, which is pretty powerful when they're here and going.
How's Will Francis doing?
Yeah, he's okay, we think. Yeah, no, I think he come off a bit of cramp at the end, but he should be okay. But I'm always nervous about predicting stuff at this time of the day.
All coaches are, so all coaches are nervous.
Yeah, no, I think he's fine. I think Lockie Jones, a bit of a hamstring issue that he'll get scanned on. He's got a history around that, so he couldn't quite get to the power he needed to go back on, so we didn't take that unnecessary risk. And I think Bergman rolled his ankle late in the game, but that should be, I would hope that's pretty reasonable.
After quarter time, it was plus, one of the numbers you mentioned, plus 43 contested possession. You've got one of the stronger midfields in the comp. Are they going to sort of really lick their wounds?
Well, our last 2 weeks would suggest that that's perhaps not quite as accurate as we would like it to be. We think we have got a very good midfield group, but in the last 2 weeks we haven't been as at the level we need. We have been in patches, but first quarter we're very good, but then after quarter time we got showed up by Collingwood. And it's a stat we have to live with. It's hard to hide from that one.
And I guess there were some moments as well when you did have a little sniff, and Willie Rioli towards the end when he could have just given it to Burn Jones up the top too. Is that something you'll have to have a chat to him about?
Emotionally, people do some strange things at different times, and I don't think Willie's a very, very sharing player more often than not. And if he didn't get that right, I'm sure he would understand that. But yeah, the game was sort of, I think falsely was coming back our way a little bit at that point, but it was better than the way it was going before that. So, and it would have just closed the gap. But Collingwood again, they finished us off at the end.
Can I just ask? I mean, when George Hayes put that goal through, it's like, as you said, it was only 23 points margin, but plenty of times over the players just didn't seem like their spirit didn't seem like it. Just didn't. It seemed a bit odd.
I think that was reasonable to say that they were lacking a little bit of energy out there, or maybe it was the reverse. The opposition were playing with incredible energy at that stage. We just didn't. Said that we didn't have the energy for the battle, so maybe that came out in the way at that point as well. So, we played them off their break. They were. They'll sit there and think they were a little bit slow in the first quarter, and we think we're pretty good in the first quarter, but they'll say they found their legs after quarter time, and I can't argue with them.
I guess it's very early in the year, obviously, but is it a bit of a concern that your only two losses have been against two reigning the top six teams in Melbourne and Collingwood from last year?
Different losses, really clearly different losses. This one was super concerning. There's no doubt, because I thought against Melbourne we played with some strength in our game, and this time after quarter time, for 3 quarters we didn't appear to be that side. I know we are, but we certainly can't say that today. I'd look a bit foolish if I sat up here and said we're a really good side when we displayed that against the reigning premiers. We learn.
What do you do in the wake of this, Ken? I know it's early in the season, but just what's happened today, and you say how concerning it is. How do you address this?
Well, it's concerning for today.
Yep.
It's not consistent with what we've been. That's why we get to 4-2 currently after 6 rounds. So we've been better than today, but today's that's why it's a little bit hard. The first quarter was, you get a glimpse of what we think we're more than capable of doing. We've produced that most of the time this year, but the last 3 quarters we get a reality check on that there's a gap that we're chasing still, and we knew that at the start of the year, and we're still chasing.
And the captain, obviously, he's such a great player. He seemed to be down today. I know he had a lot of mates, but
Yeah.
and just is your
Yeah, that's the. Sometimes your highest level can be a bit of an issue, can't it? Because as soon as he gets down a little bit, we can pounce on really good players. Connor's a great player, and he's a great young captain. He's got lots to learn, but if he was a bit off today, I'm sure he'll recover and bounce next week. All right.
How many to come back? Do you hope Charlie will be back next week?
Yeah. We expect. Well, Charlie was rested today, so we expect that to be the case, and Boak would be a chance to play next week as well. But again, we're aware of the competition. We're aware how long the competition is, and they need to be right before we pick them. All right.